Vikings fans, we're about to break down the injury report and some rumors out there, namely around the defensive side of the ball. Before we get to that, though, I noticed a lot of you guys have not yet subscribed. Let's get that changed. We're over 1,000. That's cool and all. Let's get to 2,000 next. If you guys want free Vikings videos all year long, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Here is the Minnesota Vikings Week 4 injury report. Some notable players worth discussing here. First up, the two players who did not participate at Wednesday's practice. Tyler Conklin has a elbow/a butt issue. We'll see how that fares the rest of the week. I'm dead serious there. Ihmir Smith-Marsette has a toe. I would wonder if he's a bit more unlikely than Conklin to play this week. Some good news, two players who were full participants at this week's practice, or at least Wednesday's practice. Christian Darrisaw, back from a groin issue. Greg Joseph, the kicker, a right hip, but that's just a full participant. He'll be fine for this week. Then 6 players who were limited at practice on Wednesday. Anthony Barr, maybe this is the week. Who knows? He has a knee. Multiple hamstring issues as well right now for Minnesota. That's a bit of a red flag. Those issues tend to linger. Chris Boyd, Harrison Hand, and Xavier Woods. They were all limited in general, in most cases, not all. If you're limited on Wednesday, you'll be able to go on Sunday. Dalvin Cook also back in some form at practice. And then Eric Kendricks, who I'm not worried about at all. Let's go more in depth now on Tyler Conklin. It is listed by the Vikings as a glute/elbow injury, which is, I guess, 2 different ones. He's coming off a great game in Week 3. I hope he's back out there for Minnesota. We'll see how practices go the rest of the week. That is one worth monitoring. Meanwhile, Dalvin Cook, who the Vikings had said, oh yeah, he'll be good to go Week 3, and then ended up not being able to play, is still among the top 10 in the NFL in rushing yards. That he was limited at Wednesday's practice is a very good sign, a very good indication that he will be able to return to the field in Week 4. Even if he's not, it's not the end of the world, because Alexander Mattison fared great in a chance to start against the Seattle Seahawks. He is one of the better backups in the NFL, but I'm thinking we'll see Dalvin Cook back out there this week. Finally, Anthony Barr, who has been banged up a lot more often than I think Vikings fans would prefer. Limited at practice. We kind of saw some similar stuff last week. I thought he was going to play and ended up not being the case. We will see if he can get a full participant tag at some point this week entering Week 4. So as it relates to Anthony Barr, will he play this week? Get your votes in for me in the comment section. Type 1 for yes, Anthony Barr will be able to play, or type in 0 for no, he's not going to be out there in Week 4. Make your predictions for me right now in the comments section. Let's spend time on Christian Darrisaw, because this was the Vikings' first-round pick, the left tackle out of Virginia Tech. The hope, the goal, the expectation was that he was going to take over at left tackle, but he's missed the first 3 games with a groin injury. More time to recover than what Minnesota would have thought. Otherwise, they would have put him on IR for the first 3 weeks. In Darrisaw's absence, Rashad Hill has been the left tackle, and it's been not good, as we'll get into more in depth. But with Darrisaw, a full participant at Wednesday's practice, that's a pretty big sign and indication to me that the Vikings are getting closer to making him active. Now, active versus starting, I think that's still up in the air. But I want to see Darrisaw out there. So I'm going to put you guys in the shoes of Mike Zimmer right now. Would you start Christian Darrisaw in Week 4? Get your votes in for me in the comment section. Type in Y for yes, you would, or type in N for no, you would not. And I think in an ideal world, Rashad Hill ends up being your backup offensive tackle. The play, the production so far has just not been that great. He wasn't really supposed to be a starter. When you spend a first-round pick on a left tackle, the plan is he emerges as the go-to guy. Hill so far this year, look, the numbers, the eye test, all of it has been, it's not very good. In 3 games, he's allowed 1 sack, 3 hits, 4 hurries. He's also been, by the way, dinged for 4 penalties, a pretty significant amount in only 3 games. His Pro Football Focus run grade also hasn't been particularly good so far this season. So I've been very underwhelmed by Hill. Frankly, the Vikings offensive line hasn't lived up to expectations quite yet. Rashad Hill has been the problem. Garrett Bradbury, a young former first-round pick himself, still coming along a little bit slowly. Ezra Cleveland, I like him, but he's still young. Brian O'Neill, a bit lower than I think the expectations, but we know he's a good football player. The one nice surprise so far has been Ali Udoh, a 72.4 overall grade. Hopefully, if Darrisaw does start this week, it'll lead to better play across the entire offensive line. It'll take some time for chemistry, but I'm excited to see Darrisaw sooner than later in Minnesota. If you guys want more Vikings news and rumors and free videos and recaps and previews and everything going on around the Vikings, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on anything we put out for you guys. It's all free here. So if you haven't already, if you love the Vikings, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Let's talk Bashaud Breeland, as Bleacher Report went out and named one player each NFL team should bench. And a lot of the names were not good, but I completely agree with benching Breeland. He has been a very bad corner. In admittedly only 3 games, it could change, but he's a veteran. It's his first year in Minnesota. PFF has graded him as the worst corner among qualified players, i.e. not guys who made like 3 snaps or whatever. Among qualified players, he's dead last. The Pro Football Reference coverage numbers are a disaster for Breeland as well. Nearly an 82% completion rate, 195 yards, allowed 2 scores already. Every time he got targeted against Seattle, he allowed a completion. His quarterback rating when targeted, off the charts, 133.9. It's bad. And it continues to confuse me, as we've mentioned many a time before here, how Breeland is just, okay, he's back out there again. The Vikings have other options at cornerback. Now, Harrison Hand has been a bit banged up. Maybe he ends up being a piece. We'll see. But Chris Boyd has had a chance. It was bad. But I am still confused how Cameron Dantzler, who showed promise last year, is just not out there. He's not playing. He's had 1 opportunity and has had a little bit of playing time. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why is Cam Dantzler not being a piece for the Minnesota Vikings? That does not make sense to me. I think he's clearly in the doghouse, but it's weird. You would think that Dantzler would get a shot in Minnesota. So I want you guys to, maybe it's playing some armchair coaching, but still, pick a starter for me. Who do you want to see out there? Type B for Bashaud Breeland, or type in D for Cam Dantzler. Someone I don't really want to see out there, by the way, is Chris Boyd. He did get a chance in week 1 when Breeland briefly got benched, and then Boyd immediately got burnt just as bad. So I would rather see Dantzler at corner over Breeland and Boyd. We'll see if Mike Zimmer, though, feels the same way anytime soon.